because we are about to have a debate about AI, which I'm sure won't get heated, it won't get ridiculous, although one of the participants has already said he will turn to physical violence if it doesn't go his way. So I'm really looking forward to moderating this and going home with a very professional black eye at the end of things. So how this will work, in AHA slides, you will be able to see a poll after each of 3 questions. For each question, we will have 2 minutes from one of our debaters, 2 minutes from the other, and then an aggressive 30 seconds to rebut whatever the second person has said, and then you get to decide who won the question. This is a conference, but with winners, and you get to decide who wins. So 3 questions, you will vote who has won for each of those. They will do a summary, and then at the end, you will get to decide on who overall has won the debate. I'd say any questions, but I think it's going to be hard to take questions. So open AHA slides, hope it works, ask the person next to you if it doesn't. It looks like we're kind of good to go, in which case it gives me great pleasure to welcome to the stage 2, I think, titans of UX/DX, we would call them. We have Mr. John Cleere to begin with. And Mr. Kevin Hawkins, everyone.
Get out of here, get out of here.
Can't win. I need space to awkwardly stand between you. Okay, gents, how are we feeling?
Kind of scary, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit scary. You all right? You limbered up?
Yeah, it's kind of like Terminator 1, really, the movie. You know?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Kevin is the Terminator with all this machine stuff. And then you're like Sarah Connors in between us all.
That is who I've always wanted to be.
Stay out of it, right?
Okay, I'll stay out of it.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And then I'm like the guy who comes back from the future. Trying to cut Kevin off at the path at this inflection point of AI, you know?
Right.
Anyway.
And I'm not mistaken that you're gonna like play Johnny Be Good at the end on a guitar. No, wrong film? Wrong Back to the Future film? Okay, never mind. We'll move on. Right, so you know what's happening. You know what's happening. We're going to start with you, John. You're going to give a 2-minute intro to how you feel about AI in design and research. Are we heading for a revolution, or are we heading for a regression?
Okay.
Kick us off.
Here we go. So basically, I think that, first of all, I'm not a Luddite about this. I'm more like a Cassandra. I'm looking around the corners and seeing what could be coming in the context of design. So we call AI artificial intelligence, but I'm kind of wondering, is it intelligent, and is it more in line to call it artificial information processing? That could actually make sense. So if it's not actually intelligent, the first thing we should be doing is thinking about us as designers that there's a bias there already by calling it intelligent, basically. And if we think about it, that's a bias. And if we were to be more honest about it, I just found this only a few days ago from a guy called Stefano Quintarelli, and he said that if we're to be more honest about what it is, he said we should call it systematic approaches to learning algorithms and machine inferences. That's SALAMI. So for the rest of this thing, I'm calling it salami, okay? So that's where we're going. So what I'd like to say to you guys now is, like, is salami going to take our creative jobs? Is salami going to, be creative? Can salami be creative? I don't really think so. I think it's, quite frankly, a load of baloney. But anyway, what I'm going to put to you is that I'm going to suggest to you, beautiful, lovely people, because you are people and humans, and I need you guys to vote for me, that this is an ultra-processed product. And this could be actually quite carcinogenic when it comes to UX research, to design, and to our jobs as well. So I'll be going to put to you guys that this salami is really pushing for efficiency over effectiveness. And we're talking about efficiency. That's a bad thing. What I want to say is that it's exploiting over exploring. It's pushing technology over the psychology and human condition. It's also pushing speed over the speed of human thinking. And speed isn't everything. It's not everything good. And it's pushing content over context. And we have to bring that back into the C-suite, because strategy is really important. And there's a really good quote from Jules Goddard, and he says, the strategy is the rare and precious skill of staying one step ahead of the need to be efficient.
Incredible. Salami, you got anything to beat that, Kevin? Kick us off.
For this. I think this is great that we did this right after the agency talk, because I think AI is just like another agency. Whenever an in-house team loses to an agency, there's a big huff and puff online because, oh no, we could have done this in-house. But actually, I think the value of any creative person goes up when there's lots of sloppy competition. And so having AI produce tons of C+ material at high speeds makes us all look better. So if AI is so scary and AI is so bad, how are both of those things true at the same time? people are going to replace us because they're going to use AI. I think we all have heard the adage now. Things like 80% of people have said this now, that if you're going to get replaced, there'll be people who do our jobs with AI, not AI by itself. But then there's this belief that at some point it'll learn everything we do. We all famously know how Figma launched their AI product and everyone immediately freaked out. We said they've Adobe-fied Figma, they're going to take over all of our jobs and charge everyone $7,000 a seat. Then they tried it with dev mode. But the reality is, like, if you're going to defend yourself, I'd rather have competition. I don't want to be in a sea of two people that do amazing work, because you're going to lose the battle convincing our non-design stakeholders that we are the best option. I'd rather have 15,000 competitors and still be considered the best. I'd rather have it produce tons of UI and tons of ideas that fall flat and fail, and have my in-house team and myself look amazing, because we are. So I encourage competition. I encourage tons of people to use AI, and then we'll see who converts the most and who has happy teams.
I love it. Competition on one hand, ultra-processed meat on the other. Let's dive in. Question 1. I'm going to throw this to you first, Kevin. Is that all right? So, can AI-driven research help build impactful products, or is it designed to give superficial conclusions and data? 2 minutes.
Okay, so as you can tell, I'm team AI here. I was told to use funny things to get your votes, so it's team AI, right? All right, or A and then I. So I think it's not just superficial conclusions, but I think it can be very, very helpful with the aid of humans, right? So I think there needs to be the same quality bar, the same guidance that we just mentioned in the last talk. No agency is going to come in and do a better job without onboarding, without context, without guidance, without clear goals and definition of success. AI is the same thing. So you can judge AI when you give it no context, no conclusions, no goals, no parameters, and say, look, it doesn't know how to do anything. And then you can give it the proper onboarding, the proper guidance. The same ones you're supposed to give to all your new hires that you don't do. Yeah, you give it to the AI, maybe it actually does a pretty good job. Maybe it does help after all. So let's not judge fish on how well they climb trees. Let's maybe give it a lake and give it a race.
Amazing. Succinct in just a minute. I love it. John,
Yep.
same question to you.
Sure.
2 minutes.
Okay, so the first thing I'll talk about is technology and psychology. So I think there might be an over-reliance on us now using technology, and that can overshadow, I suppose, the importance of understanding the psychology in UX research. So as an example, we can do A/B tests, and they're saying now that we don't need designers to design the interfaces. The AI can design it, and then it can pick the best one, and then move on to the next one. And then it starts basically efficiently coming to a conclusion through UX research. And I'm afraid that actually could be a lot of content without any real context on the why someone might be clicking on something or moving something. So we just have to be very careful with that, because this efficiency, I don't think is going to work really well. If you think back to early 80s when Steve Jobs came out with the first Mac, and he said that it can amplify our abilities. And that's true, it should be about amplifying our abilities. But he did say as well with Johnny Ives when they brought out, do you remember they brought out the kind of the glossy berry Mac that everyone could have in their house a few years back? But they actually put a handle on the top of it. Do you remember there was a handle on top of it? And he said the handle on the top of it is so you can throw it out the window, because the computer is not for doing everything. So it's just really, really important in that context that we remember that. And then, what else do I have? Slammy. So like I was saying, we're calling it slammy. So it kind of relies on strict logic, okay? So it reduces the opportunity to test and research some of the counterintuitive ideas. And this is a bit people forget about, because Rory Sutherland, he's in Ogilvy, and he said the opposite to a good idea might actually be another good idea. And I think we do a lot ourselves when we look at some great products that come out. It's easy to, let's say, post-rationalize a good idea. But in our roles in UX, and in UX exactly, is that we need to start looking at some of the counterintuitive ideas before they become good ideas. And we need to be able to bring that to the C-suite and give them really good ideas of what that should be. So, yeah, I think it's getting interesting.
Yeah, difficult. You've got to look at those counterintuitive ideas in a logical or a way that a human can that AI can't before we go.
Yes.
All right, 30 seconds. Rebuttal of salami and chucking Macs out windows.
Okay. So I'm going to use your example here for my rebuttal. So this handle on a Mac seems random, right? It seems like a really bad idea. It seems maybe like a hallucination of a chatbot. Tons of good ideas, things that ended up being super cool, were originally just really shit ideas, and that no one understood. And I think Johnny Ive is famous for being considered the crazy guy at Apple, who like kept having new ideas. People were like, no one's ever done that. That's bizarre. Is that a mistake? You don't really mean that. It kind of feels like the first version of ChatGPT. Like, oh, that's a weird idea. There's no way it intended for that to be the solution. So I don't necessarily think that all ideas that you don't immediately agree with are bad ideas. I think you have to sift through the noise and sift through bad ideas to sometimes get really fabulous ideas. When everyone goes right and you want to go left, maybe you have to try to go left. Now,
Amazing. I'm going to cut you off.
Fine.
That's
Fine.
20 seconds over, mate. I don't know what to tell you. Right. Let's see if this works. Who won? Did John win this question? Did Kevin win this question? Get voting. Someone else vote. It's awkward if no one else. Okay, that's good. Okay.
I'm going up against Slammy here.
You are going up against Slammy here. I'm going to give it 5 more seconds, 4 more seconds, 3 more seconds.
For the humanity people.
What? You will have your time to rebut. All right. You lost points for suggesting we were humans. I'm now actually really worried about you for the rest of this talk. Okay,
That's
right. 1 point to Kevin. There we go. Okay, we're going to move on to... I pressed it. There we go. Next question. How much should UX designers embrace AI across the creative process? Will it lead to everyone going down the same road? John to start.
Okay, talking about more efficiency, etc. So we have an impatience with human intelligence, I think, this seems to be a thing now. And when we are, let's say, designing a user interface, we say that it's great because it's like a shortcut and get us to A to B, we can get to a final interface very, very fast. And that's great, but the thing with that really is that it's a faster route, but are these actually just like really quick, processed, microwavable recipes to get us to some sort of conclusion? And could we actually be nuking some good ideas here, So if you think about the value of the creative process, when you were in college, you would have done a thesis or you would have done a dissertation. And if you look back at that today, now you'll read it and go, good Lord, what was I thinking, okay? But the thing is that it was the process of going from A to B, that space in between that was really important in your development. But it also meant that you were collaborating with people, you were reading books that you wouldn't regularly read, you were talking to people you wouldn't regularly talk to. So that process is really, really important. And then, what else would I say about that? I just have that caution against over-reliance on AI tools, because it's what would you say? It's going to lead to, it's a lot of exploitation, but not a real area of exploration. And if we get into a lecture on the birds and the bees, but if we look at bees, they've been around 300 million years, okay? And there's 2 types of bees in a nest. There's the worker bees, they follow a waggle dance to go out and get the pollen, and then they come back and they expel less energy than they bring more energy back than they expel, and that makes them good working bees, and they're very efficient. And if they're not efficient anymore, they're kicked out. But then there's the 20% of the bees, they're called scout bees, and they explore. And they go out and don't follow the waggle dance, they go out and find new areas, a new value, in other words, to find new pollen, to find new flowers in different areas. So we have to be very careful that we're not getting into a stage of efficiency where we're just going to start depleting and going towards the exact same thing. Our tools going to start mirroring each other, etc. So be very, very careful that we need to build up the explore part while AI is really pushing the exploit at the moment.
Amazing. AI is going to kick out our 20% explorers. An interesting point. 2 minutes. Take it away.
My favorite topic is this one. All right, so how many of you remember when you used to have very small teams and you used to have no tools and you used to just do 10 versions of everything? You send the client 20 drafts of a logo, 100 mock-ups, tons and tons of wireframes, and you trash most of it. And then somehow we still all make websites that look like linear.com. So we've done all of this work to get better and better as designers, and there's a website called linears.art, which is just 1,000 websites that look identical to linear.com, because even with all of our user research, competitive analysis, and our senior designers and our agencies, we somehow still came to the same ideas. So if we did it, of course AI sometimes is going to do it, but if we did it and it shipped 1,000 times, we could probably catch that much faster if the AI can go and do competitive research in about 30 seconds when we couldn't do it over the last 12 years. So I think there's ways to use AI in a way that makes you a better designer, and it's something that, again, you shouldn't have over-reliance, but I'd much rather have my ideas be shut down in the first hour of ideation than to spend 2 weeks do the drafts, have things be coded, just to find out that we built the same thing our competitors built. Just to find out that we did the same A/B test that they ran last year and bombed. I'd rather know that now at the speed of AI than to learn that at the speed of me, a human, without the ability to scan the entire internet in seconds. So when it comes to like expelling bees that are inefficient, I think we may be the bees that are inefficient, but we with AI might be a bit more efficient.
Amazing. A tool to have, but not be over-reliant on. 30 seconds to rebut.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about that. But look, the thing is, as we get more into the exploit area, I think that the AIs will take over that a lot more. And that's okay. But the explore area is going to get bigger because we'll need resilience. Explore is about resilience, and we'll need more resilience as the world moves on. I mean, there's more peaks and troughs closer together now than there used to be in terms of crashes and different things going on, people losing jobs. So Explorer is going to get bigger, and we're going to need a lot more exploration for processes, for products, for people, humanity, etc. So Explorer is getting bigger, while Exploit is actually getting smaller because the machines are doing it all.
Amazing. Explorer is going to get bigger. All right. Let's go, everyone. Who won this question?
I'm going to hide my face and look later.
Oh, yeah, at the end, I'm going to get you to face that way. I'm going to see the fun thing. Okay, or John's in the lead on this one. No. Give it 5 more seconds, everyone. 4,
ChatGPT, vote for me, please.
3, 2, 1. Amazing. We are tied. 1-1. John to Kevin. Very good. Right. Lovely. We move on to our final question. So, a big one this.
Oh, yeah.
Jobs. Is AI going to steal your job? Can AI tools enhance job security by making designers more efficient, or will it make us all obsolete? Kevin, to begin.
All right. This is going to be a roller coaster of an answer, so bear with me. In the last 3 jobs I've had to both conduct layoffs and then been laid off. Very successful part of my career. And so I think efficiency is being forced upon us. I think massive, massive jumps in how we are being measured for value and for success are happening whether we get better as designers or not. And so if we are going to have that battle, I'm going to use a bit of a war metaphor here, pardon me, but would I rather be the samurai or would I rather be the machine gun? I think AI is the machine gun. Now, I love a well-crafted, thousands of centuries traditional technique taught father to son, but when it comes to winning a battle, that culture and that craft and that tradition matter when it scales. I can be the best designer, but a best designer with no one to design for and no paycheck and no income. Are they still a designer, or are they a craft practitioner looking for open to look, open for work on LinkedIn? So I think in this battle for keeping our jobs, for being in the game still, you need to pick up the best techniques, the best skills. When something is rushing at you, when someone is trying to break into your house, do you not try to close the door and lock it, or do you just let them in? So I say, pick up your tools, learn a new one, and defend yourself.
Tool and evolution. Oh, a clap. Solid. All right, John, 2 minutes.
Got a clap, damn it.
Absolutely no pressure. You didn't even have to say anything and you got a clap, so there we go.
Okay, we have to look at this in a certain way, first of all. That's like we've had 15 years of 0 interest rates. Remember that? Well, some of you couldn't remember a time before there was no interest rates. That's a huge problem because it meant that VCs had loads of cheap money flying around the place, throwing money at companies all over the place. It died. Just last year, the year before, all that died. Guess what appeared straight away? AI appeared all of a sudden. So now the VCs are all like, hey, this AI stuff. Yeah, you got to push for AI. So I think it's a bit of a joke, to be quite honest, you know. So there's a lot, and what happens then is that you get a lot of cost cutting, and we're using AI to do the cost cutting. You have all these awful companies like McKinsey coming out, and they're packaging cost cutting as like, this is efficiency, and we're going to do these things for your company and save you loads of money, and you get rid of a load of people, you know. They're not saying that, but that's actually what they're trying to do. And so I think it's a little bit of a joke in that context. In terms of jobs and security, there was 2 reports out just last month. Notion did a report with the Harvard Business Review, and Goldman Sachs did a report as well about jobs into the future and with the knowledge workers. And basically, they both came to the same conclusion that there is problems basically with the workforce in terms of siloed information, bad practices in terms of the processes that we're using at the moment, not new really, I suppose, and the lack of collaboration. They really pushed the lack of collaboration, and they've pushed for that he needs to be a lot more critical thinking, he has to be a lot more creativity, and there has to be a lot more collaboration. And the kind of collaboration is a thing that's coming up and again. And I think even like we were on the tour, the walking tour of Dublin a couple of days ago, and I remember we were talking about George Bernard Shaw, and he had a beautiful quote about communication. He said that the problem with communication is the illusion that it ever happened at all. And I think we really have to start going back and looking at communicating with each other when we have things like AI agents coming into the realm of design as well now, and what the hell is that? And we need to start talking about it, because apparently 2025 is going to be the year of AI agents, you know, how far we've come.
Amazing. Kevin, you're going to have 30 seconds to basically say a rebuttal on the death of communication.
I know, right? This is great. Didn't plan this at all. Communication is my passion. I've traveled to many countries. I've been in 72. I've lived in 8 of them. My parents are like these crazy travel people, and they forced this on me very early. And so I've always realized that the ability to communicate is super, super important, to the point where I have a tattoo, and my biggest tattoo on me is a quote in Latin, "Scientia est potesta," which is knowledge is power. And I think AI enables us to have more knowledge. Do you want it?
Very cool. All right, we will have one last vote between it's a tool you need to get on board with or be left behind, or it will destroy all communication between individuals.
Dun, dun, dun.
Kind of.
There we go.
Just before Halloween.
Oh, it's going to be close, this one. These were strong arguments. Oh.
People like locking their doors.
No, you've had your 30 seconds.
I just
no.
I'm
all right.
insecure in this.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just pipped, Kevin. Well done. Right, it is not over yet. We have gone through all 3 of our questions. However, you will now have 2 minutes, no rebuttals because I want a safe fight, 2 minutes to finish and summarize up what you have said and why you are right in your position.
Go for a turn.
Kevin, begin.
Okay, fine. All right. Let's go along this analogy still, right? So we all like our house, and people are trying to attack our house, and I'm going to say we close the door and lock it. Now, this does not mean this is going to work forever, right? I think we're talking about AI taking our jobs. We're not talking about the short game. We're talking about the long game. So when I say that you need to pick up the tools and learn AI and learn new skills, I think we eventually need to figure out what is the difference between good design and amazing design. And I think that's everyone's personal journey. The problem is we often don't look around and see other people doing the same journey. We oftentimes make the same mistakes that they did, and it's pretty avoidable sometimes, especially at the company level. You have competitors, you're in an industry. So if you're going to be more aware of everyone, this also allows for more groupthink, which is something you mentioned before. Now, I think the best thing about this is we still need to be in the room to help the groups think better. AI is going to help with that, and ultimately, AI is going to be reliant on us. So if we're going to be doing this, a lot of companies are going to start producing AI as the product. And if you don't know what AI is, how are you going to be the designer that gets kept at the company when the company goes from a tech company to an AI tech company? I think it's going to be the paradigm shift. I think it's going to be the next time we talk about how we design for user experience, which used to be called HCI, which used to be called other things. It's going to be the next thing. So I recommend checking out The Shape of AI, and I suggest that you have the job of shaping AI, because otherwise it'll shape you.
Very good. John, 30 seconds to sum up. No, 2 minutes to sum up.
Okay.
Sorry.
So complexity and creativity, first of all. So I think creativity is more intricate than straightforward budgeting. It requires advocates in the boardroom now with regards to time for creativity, human intelligence. It takes time. We need more with regards to the importance of exploration and not just exploit, because, like I said, the AI is really about exploiting things in terms of getting data to be faster. That removes the idea of critical thinking, etc. It's efficiency over effectiveness. Relying solely on efficiency is detrimental to resilience, and that's something that we really need as we go forward. And then I'll just give some job tips, maybe. I think that's a way to go, because really it's all about jobs. First thing, watch out for the shiny AI companies that are coming out now. I think they'll all move on very, very fast as the landscape changes a lot. So maybe try and avoid them for jobs. I don't think you're going to learn that much. Caution with VC-backed companies who are still going around with, CFOs trying to enlarge their TAM, junkies for more funding. I don't think you're going to learn much in those companies either. And although we might be all looking for a job in one of them. And just look for companies who have an environment where they make their work look like a library and a pub, and have that kind of communication going on. There's deep work, and then there's the communication. Not like beanbags, but them building communities of practice about these AI agents and things like that. And remember as well that, don't get too locked down in this salami, because it's going to make you info obese, okay? Eating all this salami. So you don't need to do that, and it's not going to be good for you. And like I said, we have to, UX is it talks a lot about autonomous teams, and we heard a lot of that today and stuff. But watch out and try and work with autonomous companies as well that actually are bootstrapped, because it's an enormous sense of well-being to be working with companies like that.
Amazing. Before we dive into the final vote, can we just have a round of applause for two incredibly eloquently put across and very politely put across sides of a debate? This is not what you promised me at all. I love it. All right, I think we are going to head on to the final. So, gentlemen, I would like you to come to the front of the stage and not look at the screen behind us.
Oh,
that way.
Fine.
We're going to have everyone start voting.
Yeah, it will tell me anyways.
Start voting, okay? And in the audience who are here, you can do it at home, but we won't hear it. A little bit of a drum roll, please, as we go. 5, 4, 3, 2. This is a terrible drum roll. I'm going to start from 5 again. Better. 4, 3, 2, 1. With less than 5%, Kevin is the winner.
Oh. Okay.
Look at these numbers. That is basically the same.
You'll regret it.
Congratulations.
Nice.
Well done.
Thank you.
Very good. Amazing. Fantastic. Oh, I get to ask you questions, apparently.
Oh.
See, I knew what I was doing when it was a normal format. You can take your seats again, or each other's, whichever you'd like. There are no unanswered questions. We are asking questions? We're not asking questions?
Okay.
Okay, let's type some questions.
Real human hands.
Yeah. Ask ChatGPT what you should ask for our amazing debaters. All right, so for anyone who wasn't in the room for the last panel, this is going to seem very odd. And if you were, this is still very odd. Will AI replace sausage rolls?
Me? Sorry, it's a real question.
Yeah, it's a very serious question. You were talking about it being salami anyway, so...
This is the kind of question where I might ask, what's it called, ChatGPT, because I only use it for satire.
Oh.
Okay. So, I don't know.
AI is in satire?
No, probably not.
We already have vegan sausages, right? So why can't we have AI sausages?
Representation for all types of sausages. I love it. Okay, it's going well. Right, brilliant. So you've both obviously fiercely fought on either side of this as a debate, but is there a happy medium? Can we make the best of both worlds? AI that's useful, but doesn't replace us.
Yeah.
I'm going to quote one of the previous speakers. It was like, B2B software is great for adoption because they have to use it. So when the company buys AI tools, and you go to work and it's there, we're going to be using it. So you might as well figure out how to do your job still when they change the software to AI tool software.
Sure. All right. Fantastic. There's another great question. So I guess you've mentioned you use ChatGPT for satire.
Yeah.
John, are there any aspects of your professional life in which you use AI?
Of course, I use it all the time, So, we're just being a little polarized up here. But yeah, no, AI is very important. It's great for, when you stare at a blank page, just in a very simple way if you're working on a design or you're just writing. Writing is still a huge thing. Like I was saying earlier on about, when you're writing your diploma and dissertation or whatever, but you hate to think that people are now using GPT to write that because you don't experience writing is, I can't spell any of those things, but writing is really important because it gives you clarity of thought. So I think we have to make sure that we keep writing and things like that because GPT is great just to get you started. It's a good kickstart,
I agree.
But yeah.
It's a process, writing, not an end state. I get it.
Clarity, yeah.
AI, how are you using it, Kevin?
So we're actually much closer in opinion than it seems.
That doesn't make for good content, though. So
I already won, so it's fine. No, but genuinely, I agree. Like, it's a good starting point. Like, I think my whole point is not to get faster to done. It gets me faster to V2. I think a lot of us spend times in jobs where we're like, we're doing an MVP, and secretly the CTO has planned to make that the finished version since day one, right? So if we can get to their finished plan 5 times faster, we can now get to our V2 faster as well. So I love to just get past the busy work, the V1s. I don't want to keep shipping V1s and calling it done just because we're out of time. So I do agree. It's just the beginning.
Yeah.
amazing. That is all we have time for. So we have a massive round of applause once again for Kevin and John.